Out of 200,000 active Marines, only a select few form elite six-man teams capable of operating completely undetected for 14 straight days behind enemy lines. These highly specialized operators neutralize targets and direct devastating strikes using nothing but absolute silence. How exactly does a human being transform into such a lethal, self-reliant tactical asset? Let's dive into the classified reality of Force Recon. 40%. That is the ruthless attrition rate that routinely shatters dreams before they even begin. Imagine carrying a crushing 100-pound rucksack, meticulously packed with heavy combat gear. Now, force yourself into a brutal 20-mile ruck march across an unforgiving, steep, and treacherous terrain. Your heart rate is screaming, locked at a highly dangerous 180 beats per minute. Your muscles are burning with toxic lactic acid, begging for a single moment of rest. Forget the glossy Hollywood movies. This is the raw, agonizing reality of the United States Marine Corps Force Reconnaissance. Established back in the year 1957, FORCON was uniquely forged to operate deep behind enemy lines, securing vital intelligence for MAGTF commanders. To earn the right to bear this elite title, candidates must first survive the Basic Reconnaissance Course, or BRC. It is a grueling 9 to 12-week reactor corps explicitly designed to crush the weak. Their creed is absolute swift, silent, deadly. But what actually happens inside the human body when it is violently pushed past its natural breaking point? Let us look closely through the precise lens of neurobiology. During these hellish field exercises, Marines face up to 72 hours of total, continuous sleep deprivation. The brain inevitably begins to misfire. Vivid auditory and visual hallucinations violently blur the line between reality and nightmares. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, spikes to highly toxic levels, completely flooding the bloodstream, impairing cognitive function, and breaking down muscle tissue. Concurrently, the muscles are entirely depleted of crucial glycogen stores. At this exact moment, physical fitness statistics become utterly meaningless. Brute strength alone cannot save you here. The only mechanism keeping their boots moving forward is a psychological concept known as microdiscipline. It is the conscious, agonizing neurological command to lift a heavy boot, move it forward, and strike the dirt just one more time. They do not do it for their own glory. They do it entirely for the brother suffering right next to them in the mud. Welcome to the absolute hell of the 19th mile of the forced march. The human anatomy is actively failing. Inside their heavy tactical boots, skin is severely peeling, leaving feet raw and blistered in hidden pools of blood. Visual cortex processing drops significantly, narrowing their sight into a dark, restrictive tunnel vision. The most vicious battle is no longer against a physical enemy. It is a terrifying war waged directly inside the cerebral cortex. The exhausted, desperate mind continuously whispers a sweet, seductive lie, begging the body to just drop into the dirt and surrender. The temptation to quit is overwhelmingly powerful, echoing in every single thought. To fight this biological surrender, Recon Marines will physically bite their own lips until they bleed. The sharp spike of localized pain shocks the nervous system, forcing a brief, desperate wave of adrenaline to maintain the formation. So, I ask you, when your body is entirely depleted of energy and your mind begins to vividly hallucinate, what will you use to command your legs to take another step? Greatness does not grow from silk and comfort. It is carved violently from the absolute limits of human endurance. If you deeply respect this unbreakable spirit and the silent warriors who endure it, please take a moment to leave a like and subscribe. That is the exact fuel we need to continue decoding the most perfect war machines in human history. But if surviving this agonizing terrestrial purgatory is merely the entry ticket to this elite brotherhood, how will the human body react when hurled directly into the cold wrath of a pitch-black, freezing ocean? Plunging into the abyss requires an entirely different breed of psychological armor. Before they ever touch an aircraft, Recon Marines must perfectly master their own buoyancy. Water survival screening demands a grueling 500-yard open water swim, followed by treading water for 10 agonizing minutes while wearing full combat loadouts, weighing heavily on their tired shoulders. But true amphibious warfare is never conducted in a pristine, perfectly calm swimming pool. It happens in the unforgiving, violent chaos of the open ocean. This intensely hostile environment forcefully induces severe sensory deprivation. Vision is instantly stripped away by pitch black waters. Auditory inputs are completely muffled beneath the crushing waves. The human brain desperately scrambles for equilibrium, but the churning ocean offers absolutely zero physical stability. Enter the brutal physics of the Helocast, a massive CH-53 Super Stallion helicopter descends ominously close to the violently churning sea. The heavy aircraft maintains a precise speed of 10 knots, hovering a mere 10 feet above the freezing, hostile surface. The massive rotor wash alone generates localized, hurricane-force winds, whipping sharp saltwater fiercely into the Marines' faces. Exiting the rear ramp is a violently calculated equation of fluid dynamics. Hitting the surface of the water at exactly 10 knots feels exactly like slamming into solid concrete if the human body angle is off by just a few critical degrees. They must violently penetrate the surface, instantly orient themselves in complete darkness, and rapidly secure their heavy waterproof gear. All of this intense physical exertion occurs in freezing waters that can rapidly induce severe hypothermia within a matter of mere minutes. The ocean is relentlessly trying to steal their core body heat, forcing their cardiovascular system into dangerous overdrive. The mission often transitions to visit, board, search, and seizure operations, universally known as VBSS. Picture a sleek MH-60S Seahawk helicopter hovering dangerously over a towering 10,000-ton rogue cargo vessel. A Category 6 storm relentlessly batters the reinforced steel hull of the massive ship. Wind gusts violently scream past 40 knots, threatening to blow operators right out of the sky. The Marines must execute a flawlessly perfect fast rope insertion onto a highly slick, aggressively pitching deck. They are visually guided only by their advanced GPNVG 18 panoramic night vision goggles, providing a crucial 97-degree field of view in the suffocating darkness of the storm. One microscopic slip on the wet, violently heaving metal surface means a fatal plunge into the freezing abyss directly below. Survival here relies strictly on absolute, unwavering trust in their advanced technical equipment and the heavily armed brother holding the defensive perimeter right beside them. Yet, the absolute most terrifying amphibious trial does not happen on the chaotic deck of a ship. It happens in the suffocating psychological nightmare, formerly known as the high-low dunker. This is a rigorous underwater egress trainer meticulously designed to mentally break elite candidates. Imagine a simulated helicopter fuselage violently crashing into the dark water and instantly flipping a full 180 degrees completely upside down. Frigid water violently floods the dark, cramped cabin, completely filling their anxious lungs with agonizing dread. Total darkness instantly consumes them. The human brain is violently assaulted by acute claustrophobia, immediately triggering a massive, uncontrollable biological panic response. The delicate inner ear is completely compromised, completely destroying any lingering sense of spatial orientation. Up becomes down, left becomes right. They have exactly 7 critical seconds to act before acute oxygen deprivation becomes a highly fatal reality. They cannot use their eyes. Vision is utterly useless here. Instead, they must actively suppress the screaming biological urge to violently thrash and panic. They strictly activate pure, highly trained muscle memory. Their freezing hands must coldly and methodically trace an invisible, highly memorized geometric path directly across their restrictive safety harnesses. They must physically locate the primary heavy buckle, deliberately release the tight restraints, and violently punch out the blind emergency exit window. Panic equals immediate underwater death. Absolute calculated precision equals survival. Locked tightly inside a completely inverted metal cabin, resting deep at the pitch-black bottom of a freezing ocean. What will you ultimately choose? Will you let the screaming instinct of biological panic take full, disastrous control over your fragile mind? Or will you blindly entrust your life to the cold, calculated precision of pure muscle memory? The crushing darkness of the ocean floor could not swallow these warriors whole. So, when they hurl themselves from the very edge of the stratosphere down into a frozen kill zone. How will the fragile human body withstand the devastating drop? To breach the most heavily defended airspace on the planet, Force Recon utilizes the KC-130J Super Hercules. This massive tactical transport aircraft climbs to a punishing altitude of 30,000 feet. At this extreme elevation, the environment is fundamentally lethal to the fragile human organism. The ambient atmospheric temperature rapidly plummets to a staggering minus 40 degrees Celsius. The barometric pressure drops so drastically that the available oxygen is entirely insufficient to sustain basic consciousness. This violently triggers the silent, deadly threat of acute hypoxia. It is a severe physiological condition where the cerebral cortex is rapidly starved of vital oxygen. Without their specialized supplemental oxygen masks, a highly trained recon Marine would lose complete cognitive function in a matter of mere seconds. Euphoria violently replaces rational, calculated thought, immediately followed by total, irreversible physiological blackout. They actively execute the high altitude high opening, or HAHO, insertion technique. Stepping off the heavy loading ramp of the KC-130J is stepping into an absolute unforgiving frozen void. They carry over 100 pounds of specialized combat equipment, securely strapped tightly to their bodies. Sometimes, specialized rotary wing assets like the MV-22B Osprey or CH-53E Super Stallion deliver them closer to the tactical deck. But the HAHO jump provides the ultimate, unparalleled stealth infiltration vector. They silently glide across the dark, freezing stratosphere for dozens of miles, remaining completely invisible to advanced enemy radar networks. They are essentially precision human missiles, actively guiding themselves into the frozen, dangerous unknown. Suddenly, catastrophic mechanical failure aggressively strikes during the rapid descent. The primary parachute violently malfunctions. The Recon Marine is instantly thrown into an uncontrollable, high-speed spin. The human body accelerates aggressively, hitting a terminal velocity of exactly 120 miles per hour. The violent, rushing atmospheric wind screams deafeningly in their ears. The creeping, dangerous dizziness of high-altitude hypoxia desperately attempts to completely freeze their active cognitive processing. But uncontrollable panic does not exist here. It is instantly replaced by an intense, coldly calculated state of psychological hyperfocus. The Marine visually assesses the severely tangled parachute canopy, aggressively, violently thrashing directly above. They have exactly 3.5 critical seconds to execute the rigid emergency sequence before crossing the fatal hard deck. They must ruthlessly grip the cutaway handle with severely freezing hands, forcefully jettison the defective main canopy, and immediately deploy the life-saving reserve chute. The violent jolt of the reserve canopy opening successfully saves their life, allowing a tactical, silent landing at the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center. The MCMWTC perfectly replicates the absolute most hostile, rugged alpine combat zones currently found on Earth. Here, the biting wind chill continuously threatens immediate, debilitating frostbite to any exposed skin. The crushing psychological isolation is absolute. They are inserted deep behind heavily fortified enemy lines, operating entirely without conventional logistical support or immediate reinforcements. The treacherous, covered terrain constantly attempts to aggressively drain their vital core body temperature. Every single exhausting physical movement burns precious, irreplaceable calories needed for basic biological survival. They remain completely alone, surrounded strictly by jagged peaks and the imminent, deadly threat of heavily armed enemy mountain patrols. To secure vital tactical intelligence, they expertly deploy the RQ-11B Raven. This is a highly portable, hand-launched tactical unmanned aerial vehicle with dangerously numb, severely frozen fingers. The dedicated operator must rapidly assemble the fragile drone and hurl it directly into the freezing alpine wind. The advanced Raven provides critical live video feeds and highly detailed infrared imagery, methodically scanning the rugged terrain for concealed enemy sniper positions. But the modern battlefield is highly saturated with invisible, deadly electronic threats. Aggressive enemy electronic warfare systems actively attempt to completely jam the drone's dedicated radio frequencies. The skilled recon operator must rapidly switch communication channels, utilizing advanced encrypted military data links to successfully fight through the heavy electromagnetic interference. They must successfully transmit the precise, verified target coordinates before the enemy aggressively triangulates their hidden, vulnerable alpine position and launches artillery, plummeting in freefall at a terrifying 120 miles per hour with completely numb, freezing hands. Do you actually possess the absolute cold calculation to patiently wait for the exact right fraction of a second before forcefully pulling the life-saving release handle? Conquering the fatal, freezing high altitude is simply their highly strategic method of safely arriving at the brutal scene, when the heavy ammunition magazines run completely dry and the armed enemy is standing merely 3 aggressive paces away. Exactly how will the unbreakable brotherhood and the raw, unyielding instinct to kill violently explode? When the heavy magazines click completely empty, the true predatory instinct violently engages. The Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, or MCMAP, is fundamentally misunderstood by the public. It is never merely a random collection of physical strikes. It is a disciplined neurological switch. A highly trained recon operator can flawlessly transition from an active rifle engagement directly to lethal hand-to-hand combat in exactly 0.5 seconds. Consider the brutal biomechanics of the MCMAP blood choke. By applying precise, calculated physical pressure directly to the opponent's vulnerable carotid artery, the human brain is completely starved of vital oxygenated blood. The enemy is violently rendered unconscious and permanently neutralized in under 6 seconds. No agonizing screams, just the terrifying, heavy silence of a crushed threat. But warfare is inherently chaotic, and blood will inevitably be spilled in the dirt. Enter Tactical Combat Casualty Care, TCCC. This is exactly where the unbreakable brotherhood is truly forged in fire. Imagine your shaking hands heavily slicked with your own teammates' warm arterial blood. The deafening, rhythmic suppression fire of a hostile PKM 7.62mm machine gun is aggressively tearing the shattered concrete apart mere inches above your helmet. You must ruthlessly suppress pure biological terror, violently cranking down a rigid cat tourniquet on a dangerously ruptured femoral artery to instantly halt the catastrophic hemorrhaging. Trust is no longer an abstract concept. It is the physical grip holding a severed artery closed. To violently break out of this deadly fatal funnel, they utilize advanced explosive breaching. A precisely measured linear charge of C4 plastic explosive is rapidly applied to a heavily reinforced steel door. They do not merely blow the heavy door up blindly, they precisely calculate the exact explosive overpressure wave to cleanly sever the thick iron hinges without collapsing the entire structural integrity of the surrounding room. The deafening shockwave shatters the stubborn steel barrier into twisted shrapnel. A heavily armed enemy combatant instantly lunges recklessly through the thick, choking gray smoke. The lead recon Marine flawlessly executes a perfectly silent MCMAP takedown, violently snapping the immediate threat to the hard floor without firing a single shot, ignoring the blistering enemy crossfire tearing the air apart. He violently heaves his severely wounded 220-pound brother directly onto his heavily aching shoulders. He sprints furiously out into the chaotic, highly exposed open extraction zone. High above them, the massive thundering rotors of an MV-22B Osprey violently tear the dense atmospheric air apart. The heavy SPY rigging cable violently jerks taut. In a spectacular display of raw physical defiance, the 2 bleeding brothers are violently yanked vertically into the burning sky, disappearing entirely into the thick smoke. Here's the ultimate, mind-bending strategic twist that changes everything. Completely forget the explosive Hollywood stereotypes of muscle-bound killers aggressively spraying endless bullets into the dark. The absolute pinnacle of force reconnaissance is the supreme yet calculated mastery of absolute restraint. If a recon Marine is ever forced to violently pull the trigger of his customized M4A1 carbine, the specific intelligence mission is fundamentally considered a catastrophic failure. Their absolute deadliest weapon is not a firearm. It is the highly advanced AN/PRC-117G encrypted tactical radio. They will willingly lie perfectly motionless in freezing, insect-infested mud for 48 agonizing hours. They will watch heavily armed enemy patrols walk directly past their camouflaged faces and violently suppress the screaming biological urge to shoot. They endure this absolute psychological torture simply to secretly paint the exact verified GPS coordinates for an incoming barrage of devastating M142 HIMARS artillery rockets. The anonymous, agonizing silence of a handful of hidden ghosts ultimately dictates the brutal outcome of entire global wars. Between unleashing a storm of bullets to immediately satisfy your raw survival instincts and aggressively biting down an absolute freezing silence to securely guarantee a massive strategic victory, which ultimate sacrifice would you choose? Swift, silent, deadly. It is not just a rigid military motto painted on a wall. It is the ultimate cost paid heavily in dark blood, unbreakable discipline, and the terrifying shadows of the elite ghosts we respectfully know as Force Recon. Their greatest battles are fought in silence, but their stories deserve to be heard. If this journey shifted your perspective, please consider leaving a like and subscribing so we can uncover the next untold chapter together.